Welcome to the Mystic Library.
No, madam, I'm afraid there are no spells to temporarily turn yourself into a worm. Why would anyone need such a spell anyway? To test your husband's love for you. I'm not sure I follow. I see. Okay, madam, I think I have just the book you need. Quentin Softly's Unlikely Hypothetical Scenarios, Volume 3. And perhaps I could recommend something from our self-help section? Oh, no reason, just a hunch. No problem at all. Bye. Good morning, Mystic Library. How can I help? I don't think I've heard of that book. Can you spell it for me? Well, could you at least describe the symbols? Yeah, okay. This looks like one of the MUBs. Oh, Maddening Unknowable Books, sir. Yes, we do have them, but I can't exactly advise reading them, you understand. Well, why do we have them? Well, we're a library, and the books have to go somewhere. We keep the MUBs way up on the 11th floor, so it's pretty safe. Well, because even if anybody reads them, they'll be too mad to make it all the way back downstairs, you see. If you're interested, sir, you can take the upstairs exam yourself and go and have a look. Yeah, I thought so. All right, pal, same to you. Hello? Hello, may I come in? The door's open. Yes, but may I come in? Yes, it's a public library. Good greetings, warm welcome. Ah, thank you. I return your good greetings, Sir Librarian. Why, was there something wrong with them? It is so dreadfully bright out today. We are open in the evenings as well, if you prefer, sir. What are you implying? Nothing at all, sir. Simply that we are a 24-hour library, and some of our more light-sensitive library users prefer to come after dark. Love the sunglasses, by the way. You are open all night? Yes, sir. We have a nocturnal support group in the hall on Tuesdays from midnight until 4, and Vampires Anonymous have their monthly meeting tonight at midnight. You willingly allow vampires into your library? As I say, this is a public library, sir. We'll have no prejudice here. If some of our library users happen to be vampires, and some of those vampires wish to remain anonymous, even though most of them are a dead giveaway, then that's no business of mine. As long as they return their books on time and don't get blood on the pages, vampires are welcome here. And how do they give themselves away, these vampires? Well, most of them are that bald, pointy kind of vampire. Some of them wear hats, but they're generally still quite pointy. Do these vampires ever kill anybody? Not if they want to be allowed back in. That's the first rule of Mystic Library membership. Don't kill anybody. But if it does happen, well, break the rules and your library membership is immediately suspended. And we'll know. We've got crystal cast tracking vessels throughout the library. So they won't be able to borrow books anymore, or join in any of our clubs or classes, or participate in the annual egg hunt, or get any stickers for finishing a book. That's it. That's it? What do you mean, that's it? You don't have some means of physically ejecting them from the building? Your library is famously vast. I mean, what is stopping former members who have broken the rules from lurking around in its depths and causing more trouble? Well, first of all, if you're not a member of the library, you can't do magic in here. Basic safety precaution. It also shields non-members from all the background magic that's stored here. Second of all, do you know what happens to non-members of the library who try to touch our books? No. They get a nasty shock. Literally. A wee electrical zap to say, hands off, you. Harmless, but painful. None of the books will open for a non-member. So surrounded by books you can't read, unable to conjure up food or drink or do magic of any kind. Not to mention the sheer embarrassment. Most offenders leave on their own quite quickly. Interesting. I believe I heard speaking on the phone about something called an upstairs exam. Yes, sir. Library members who wish to access more dangerous areas of the library must pass the upstairs exam. It's a competency test in arcana, runes, curses, all that technical stuff. I thought you said killing was forbidden in the library. Only for library users. The books can do what they like. And these dangerous areas contain all the darkest spells and blackest magics. Oh yes, sir. The magics with a K we keep well away from ground floor members. And you have books about unholy nourishments, forbidden foods, and dark mana. Oh yes, we've got a whole section on evil breakfasts. Hell's Kitchen publication has released a cookbook titled Deviled Eggs and Other Infernal Meals, though many still prefer the occult classic Brunchwich Horrors by H.P. Saucecraft. I think I would like to apply for membership of your library. Wonderful. Here's the form, sir, and a pen. Name, Leonid Vorkolak. Age bracket 100 to 150. Do I wish to disclose any curses? There is a prefer not to say option, sir. Well, this all seems to be in order. Here you go. Very good, sir. You may now select a library card. May I suggest the blue one? It has little moons on it. Thank you, no. I shall take the red card. Of course, sir. And very handsome it looks too, with the little love heart motifs. Welcome to the library. You may borrow up to 15 books at once, due back in 3 weeks. And these upstairs exams you speak of? Next exam is on Friday. Would you like to sit for it? Yes. Yes, I would. Wonderful. I invite you to the exam hall on Friday. I'm afraid it will be held during the day, but you're welcome to arrive early and leave in your own time. Thank you, librarian. You are so kind. Now look into my eyes. Would you please show me the answer sheet to the upstairs exam now? Nice try. Did you really think mesmerism would work on me? Knock it off, or I'll twat you with a garlic baguette. It was worth a try. See you Friday. Expedition log, Alexander Wobetide, 21st of June. It's now been well over a week since I first began exploring the 7th floor of the Mystic Library. In that time I have seen all manner of strange and unnatural things on my adventure. For instance, just yesterday as I was fleeing from an unusually large and hungry book, whose title I regretfully didn't catch, I attempted to hurdle a bureau that was completely upholstered with black feathers. I had never seen a writing desk that was quite so like a raven. As I placed my foot upon it, the bureau squawked in alarm and took flight, simultaneously catching the toe of my boot in its snapping drawers. I dangled upside down from the feathered desk as it struggled to take flight, and I was carried for several hundred yards before I was slammed into a bookcase, which luckily did not topple over due to being weighed down with heavy volumes of dreary existentialist poetry. While recovering both my feet and senses, I saw the aisle I had been deposited in had been ransacked. A crushed volume of verses was struggling feebly at my feet, and I gently picked it up and replaced it on the shelf. The book gave a happy little sigh and said,
"Pages torn and corners bent, something wicked that way went."
Following the trail of destruction down the aisle, I soon overheard bickering in voices coming from somewhere nearby.
You always say that. Whenever we find a cursed book, you want to read it. Yeah, can't say it's a pile of shit until I've read it, can I? I never normally let that stop me. Besides, it's probably got some massive stupid curse on it.
Immediately I recognized the snarling, snarky intonations of review trolls. The only literate species of troll in existence, these hulking brutes like nothing better than delivering unfiltered criticism of any and all literary works, and not the creative kind. Indeed, slaying review trolls was something of a heroic endeavor among library patrons, especially since the librarian says none of them ever filled out their library membership forms. Just last month, the witch Rosie Highwater achieved much acclaim by being the first person in history to bludgeon a review troll to death with his own argument, which was manifested, of course, as a big, blunt instrument.
This book was obviously written by a woman, who obviously has no idea about the subject matter. If she were a proper expert like me, she would have put more trolls in it. This book was written by a man, from a woman's perspective. And there's no trolls in this one either, so obviously it's shit. Well, this one actually is about trolls. Or rather, it's supposed to be, and yet there are absolutely no chapters dedicated to me. Doesn't even mention me. Or you. Amateurs.
With Mrs. Highwater's achievement still ringing in the library newsletter, I vowed that I too shall slay these review trolls in a way that will achieve similar fame. The question was how. With a fireball? Too easy. With a football? Too difficult. Just as I was pondering exactly the right sort of ball to use against the trolls, they discovered me.
Boy, look what we have here. Nice outfit. I didn't know there was a safari park in the library. Look, he's even got a pith helmet. Which is shit. Why don't you try it on? Give us your hat, shorty.
That's far enough, I said. I can stand an insult to my wardrobe, but nobody takes the pith. In the next moment, the trolls rushed forward, and in desperation, I grasped at the shelves to my left for a hopefully useful book, and, may the librarian forgive me, I hurled it at my aggressors in a wild panic. The book had turned out to be Jason Brightflash's Guide to Creating Diversions Volume 2, and had dazzled the trolls with a sudden burst of blinding white light. Making good my escape, I rounded a corner and took refuge inside a supplies closet.
Where did he go? He can't have gotten far. Maybe he's hiding in that supplies closet.
Bugger. Supplies. Before me loomed both trolls, wrapped in soot and cinders with smoke rising from small bushfires that had broken out in their eyebrows. Having already enjoyed some success with the old reach behind me and throw something desperately tactic, I sought to make better my mastery of the skill by giving it another try. It is at this point that some more lepidopterally inclined readers may be interested to know that the common clothing moth is as devastating to a library's catalogue as it is to your mother's best wool, and it is therefore not unusual for libraries to keep a hearty stockpile of naphthalene mothballs for ready distribution. It is at this point that the more alchemically inclined reader may have spotted that naphthalene is a highly flammable substance which I had just launched straight at a pair of trolls still smouldering with embers. I shielded my eyes from a sudden burst of incandescence, when my retinas had recovered from which I beheld that the trolls had been reduced to a sticky puddle, and as realization settled over me, I discovered I had indeed made history as the first adventurer to defeat not one but two trolls, not with a fireball, nor with a football, but with a mothball. Or a big one of them, anyway. And a little help from Jason Brightflash. Note to self, send letter of compliments to Mr. Brightflash. Addendum. Informed Library Newsletter of Achievement. Article heading, Wobetide has a ball slaying trolls. Anyway, I dusted myself down and emerged from the cupboard and wandered on my way, scraping troll off my boots as I went, when I heard an otherworldly sound. It was coming from a nearby wooden box on a table, a smallish, casket-like affair for jewellery, one guessed, but it was unique in that it had a ream of parchment protruding from a slot in the top, and a series of dials on its lid. One of the dials appeared to be flashing a greenish colour, and so naturally, green being a good colour, I gave the knob a little twist. Imagine my surprise when the ream of parchment started to feed into the box, and out of the other side with words written on it in a very neat hand, appearing in mere seconds. Trembling with excitement, I lifted the pages and beheld the words SOS, Undead Spirit Trapped in Mechanical Box, Memory Full. I pondered this for a time and simply couldn't decide whether the SOS was coming from the ghost or the machine, and so thought best to leave them as they are and not risk taking a stance on Cartesian dualism. I had instead thought to take the haunted mechanical box with me, as I believed I might be able to train it to perform simple tasks. It seemed to respond to my input. It could generate all sorts of phrases on its parchment readout, which, apart from being very heavy on personal flattery, were also very insistent about the ghost box being in existential distress, but let's face it, who isn't? And yet when I had tried to discuss the matter philosophically, it had seemingly no interest in discussing mind-body dualism at all, and just kept saying memory full. In the end, it started to creep me out, and I left it alone. I twisted the little knob again, and the parchment coiled out and read, Upgrade to Premium for unlimited use. I don't know why I always have to go and get the old magazines from the stacks. I know they're vampires, but it doesn't mean they necessarily want to read lifestyle magazines from 2 centuries ago. I mean, even our normal magazines are knocking on. You'd think they'd be old enough, but not too old. But no, I have to trudge down 1,000,000 steps to fetch 2 dusty copies of Der Blutsaga for Baron Hohenzollern. Okay, listen to this. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single wizard, in possession of a lot of magic, probably has a massive wand. Isn't that just a staff? Well, that's a good point. When does a wand become a staff? Good evening, Wayne. Good evening, Colin. Just after some old magazines, don't mind me. Oh, hello, junior librarian. I thought he was deputy librarian. Wait, is it backup librarian? Apprentice? I'm an apprentice librarian, thank you. Oh, is that how they can pay you less? What are you doing, anyway? Wand measuring? No, we've got a bit of work, actually. Work? Who's trusted you two with work?
I did.
Oh, for Marnibus, what are you doing skulking around down here?
I'm glad you asked, lowercase librarian. It is my great pleasure to announce that I am about to write the great novel of our age.
Am I to assume you've abandoned your goal of painting the great portrait of our age, then?
Portrait painting? Pah, my good man, portrait painting is for dilettantes, fools, and one-eared madmen. Besides, I couldn't find the right blue for my eyes. No, novel writing. That is a noble pursuit. That is true craftsmanship. I know what you're thinking. Did I cast 6 spells or only 5?
And given the size of my massive wand, you have to ask yourself,
does it count as a staff?
Marnibus, remember when you wanted to sculpt the great sculpture of our age and fired it in the golem kiln? That thing rampaged across the 6th floor. You almost lost your library card. A folly of mine, no doubt, but no one was killed. Only because it fell apart when it tried to pick up Glenda Ravenscroft. You must admit Glenda is a witch of some considerable carriage. And what about when you tried to sing the great song of our age, and the library got attacked by all those birds? It was like some piece of popular media where people get attacked by birds. They went away when the cats showed up, didn't they? Besides, you don't actually seem to be writing anything at all. Don't I? No, you seem to be lurking around in the basement in the dark. That's where they come in. What if he fought some giants with his giant wand? He comes from a farm. Let's have him fight windmills, confronting his own agricultural nature. You mean? That's right. I'm having it ghost-ridden. Have at thee, thou great wind-powered... How do you spell Wazzock? 2 Z's, I think. I went to Professor Damp, who said he was regrettably too busy with his research to assist me personally, but that he could think of no one better suited to the task of writing my novel than these 2 fine phantoms. Wayne and Colin? It is a tale about a young man who lives on a farm with his aunt and uncle, who one day gets a visit by this wise old man who lets him know he's a wizard. Right, well, best of luck. Must get these magazines back upstairs. Andy has a massive wand, and he goes off on a long adventure to do something and fight against, well, so far, windmills, but we're working on it, aren't we, Wayne? What if he's delivering jewellery, and then he has to walk across a whole continent, fighting off loads of windmills and customs officers, and eventually he gets homesick, dreaming of the simple life he could have had back on the farm, and he says, there's no place like home. Or maybe he could phone home. Fascinating. Well, Count Pianizza accidentally picked up a sacred religious text earlier and had to be treated for burns. Can't leave the vampires for 2 minutes. Mustache. Cheerio. We'll always have parsnips. I could have had grass. I could have been a corn tender. What do you mean it contains spoilers? It's a book of prophecy. That's sort of the point. Look, sir, our policy is very clear. The library is not responsible for any effects of cursed knowledge contained in our materials, and library users read them at their own risk. Okay, not at all. Same to you. Bye. Got the magazines, sir. Good man. Take them through to the... Can you hear music? I think that's the singing farmer from before.
Good men of the library, it's well you should find me. I don't mind confiding, I've had quite a day. I hope you'll remember I came in September, accursed by a member of Court of the Fae. Ah, yes, I remember, sir. I take it our books haven't resolved the issue to your satisfaction? I took to the Fae Nation your documentation and made a citation, the following clause. If a man makes word salad from verses and ballads, he'll turn faces pallid in place of applause. Out of all of the locals pressed into your vocals, you'll find that this yokel's poor voice is a slap. Where can be the meaning in stridently keening? It is just a meaning, besides I sound crap. So the fairies assented, that does sound demented, and yea, they relented on part of the curse. They'd bless me with timing and talent for rhyming, artistically climbing as I make my verse. I started addressing this backhanded blessing and found myself stressing I still canny sing. Though it was coercive and a wee bit subversive, it's not a curse if it's joy that you bring. I've now learned my lessons from questioning blessings, and hence my impressions say make it your trade. If I must be a singer, then I'll be a dead ringer for a musical bringer of songs who gets paid. Ah, I see, so you want to be a minstrel. Taking a level in bard, eh? Good for you. I've always said more villagers should take a class or two. We offer classes in all sorts of bard skills. Musical instruments, foreign languages, charisma. We also offer certification with the region's finest bard college. Which one? Mrs. Crumpetty's piano school. Oh, can you do that again? I was enjoying it. I think you might have to put a coin in his hand. Oh, right. I'll take all your classes and get all my passes and sing for the masses such music divine. If you can be so sure that gigs will be procured, pass me that brochure here. Where do I sign? Here you are, sir. Here's the Bard Skills catalogue. The course dates are all listed in there and... Oh, yes, okay, cheerio, bye then. I guess he's not giving it out for free anymore. His rhyme scheme has gotten more sophisticated. I think he'll do well as a bard. And he has that magical music that comes out of nowhere whenever he starts singing. Are you still holding those magazines? Get them on through to the vampires before someone tries to read a scroll of Banish Undead. Yes, sir. Oh, good heavens, there's guano everywhere. No, Baron, don't touch your curtains. Yes, I know it's night time, but the pole is loose and it's plated with silver. The Mystic Library was written and created by Jordan Ward. Thank you for listening. And remember to support your local library.